Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a 3-marker challenge. My last 3-marker challenge I reviewed Touch New Markers and I did it on some marker paper that didn't feel quite right and didn't act quite right with the markers. So I decided it was time to redeem myself. So I'm doing a 3-marker challenge on printer cardstock this time, which I find is the best paper for alcohol-based markers, and I'm using my Copics today. The reason I didn't show you guys me choosing the 3 markers is because I only have 3 Copic markers, so I thought it was perfect. The colors that I used in this illustration were YR00 Powder Pink, R20 Blush, and R39 Garnet. So they're all warm colors, reds, oranges, things like that. So I used the YR00 for the skin tone. It's not the best skin tone because it's really brassy and orangey, but it's the only real color that I have that could do a skin tone. And then I had my colorless blender in the frame, but I didn't actually end up using it. And then on top of that, I also used a white Jelly Roll pen and microns for fine lining, and then some texture in the background behind the subject. So this is my 3-marker challenge. I hope you enjoy the piece. But there's a couple things that I want to talk to you about in today's video, and that's why I didn't speed up and do a speed paint, because I need all the time I can possibly have to discuss some things with you. So first off, as you can tell, if you've been watching any of my other videos, I have moved into a new space for recording. This is a nice new desk, and I also have a new kind of organizing shelf unit by my desk. So this is a new setup. This is how my videos are going to be from now on. Instead of that white desk background, it's going to be this dark brown background. I like this setup a lot more. I think it looks better in the videos as well. I hope you enjoy it too. I feel like it'll open the door up for a lot of cooler pieces, and because this desk is smaller, I have a lot more space to film the whole desk if I want to, so I can do bigger pieces in the future. Another thing I want to talk about is my upload schedule. So I used to upload once every other day. That was way too hard to keep up, so I moved to like twice a week-ish. That was still a little hard to keep up because I have art classes that I'm taking a lot this summer, so my schedule is just getting really busy with appointments that I have to make before going back to school. So my upload schedule is kind of whack this summer, but I'm hoping that I can start to level it back out. I was hoping to get a video out every Friday, but this video was uploading on Sunday, so that didn't happen. But I'm gonna try to at least have 1 video a week. It just depends what day of the week it is, and then on top of that I might have 1 or 2 more fun videos, but that's probably it. I have a huge packed schedule, so it's really hard to upload consistently during the summer, but during the school year I'll probably get back into a more routine upload schedule. So back to the piece. This sketch was something that I had done a long time ago. It's been sitting in the back of my sketchbook for a long time, like probably about 6 months now, and I really liked the way it turned out, so I wanted to continue with it further, and I thought the piece really lent itself towards an alcohol marker illustration, so that's what I thought I'd do with it. So I took out my microns. I have a huge collection. For this piece I used 03 black micron and 05 black micron for the fine lining, so those black lines that you see at the beginning of the video, and then I used a navy blue 05 for that texture behind her. So the rules for this challenge are the same as the past marker challenge that I did. The markers are used to fill the piece. They're your main sources of color. You can use other materials, but those are the only 3 markers that you can use. So I did use a white Jelly Roll pen. I used microns for fine lining. The one area where I really pushed it this time was I used a color micron in the background. For myself, I didn't consider it to be color, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I didn't feel that it was coloring the piece. I felt it was just for texture in the background, and I wanted it to stand out from the black. I didn't really care what color it was. It just had to be different from jet black. If I had a gray micron, I totally would have used it. So I did use a color micron, but personally, I don't think it discredits the challenge at all. I feel like it still fits in with the rules. So for the piece, I was very happy with the colors that I had. Like I said, I only had 3 Copic markers, so it's not like I had a large selection to choose from, but I was happy with the colors that I used. The deep Garnet R29 is a really nice color, but you can't really use it as you can't use it as a highlight. You can use it as a really dark mid-tone. I haven't really used it as a mid-tone before because it's so dark and saturated, but you probably could if you didn't want if you had a piece that didn't require too much depth. But if you had a really deep piece that needed a lot of detail, I would probably not use it as a mid-tone. So I just used it for her eye color and for her lips. I did it with her lips, and then trying to decide whether I wanted the light pink to be her eye color or the red. I thought it was a nice tie-in with the lips. And then I also did her shoulder there on the piece of clothing, that same garnet color. And I think it's a nice tie-in, and I think it kind of directs the eye movement because it's the most saturated color, and they form a triangle, the points of that color, so it really helps move the eyes through the piece. I used that YR00 for the skin. Like I said, it's a really brassy color. I'm hoping to go to an art store this week for a big sale that our downtown has, and I'll pick up a lot more Copics, and hopefully I'll be able to do another 3-marker challenge where I'll actually be picking blind and have a larger range of color palettes, because surprisingly red is my least favorite color, and that's the only color of Copics I have. The last color I used was the R20 Blush. It's a really light, faint pink color, but what makes it different from what you think of when you think pink is that it's a really muted color. It's very desaturated, faint. It's hot pink, but not hot. It's like gray pink, which I think I really like. I'm not a big fan of pink, but I really like this one because it's so muted, and you could definitely use this as a highlight or a mid-tone if you wanted to. I don't think it's too light that you couldn't use it as a mid-tone. You definitely couldn't use it as a shadow, but I mean, who am I to throw stones? Go for it if you want to. I personally wouldn't use it as a shadow. But I think the 3 colors really tied in well together, which I bought these at very separate times, so I wasn't really going for that. And I think it fit the piece really well. I feel like it feels very regal, and I don't know why, but when I look at the subject in this portrait, I get a very Disney princess-esque feel, which I feel like the colors give it that kind of saturated poppy feel, which adds to that princess idea, I guess. So I was really proud of this subject, actually. It was my first 3/4 view face, and I was very happy with how it turned out. And the hair is the best hair I've ever illustrated. It's the biggest hair. It's the most natural hair that I've ever illustrated. Needless to say, it is far from perfect, but it is my best hair that I'm most proud of. So another thing about the hair, I've stated this in other videos, but it might look a little strange to you, but my personal style is to have segments of hair and then to add in lines within those segments of hair to show movement. So that's what I did in this piece. Like all my other pieces, if the hair isn't defying gravity, it looks like that. But what makes this piece different is I have a lot of sections to the hair, so that was something different for this piece. So when I got to this point, in the piece, I just felt like it was missing something. I almost did a gradient in the background with the varying shades of Copic I had, but I did not feel like these specific colors would blend well. That's something I need to look into when I'm buying Copics, but when I was just starting, I didn't think about that at all. So I didn't think they would blend well at all. So I decided to stray from that, and so that's why I grab a kind of dark navy blue 0.5 micron and I add this texture in the background, and the way the lines slant, it corresponds with the movement of the garnet color throughout the piece, so it really fits in with the eye movement that the piece naturally had. Here I went in with a white Jelly Roll pen and just added in some highlight and glimmer. So I always add some spots to the lips of my subject. If the color on the lips is more saturated, like this piece for instance, I'll do a lot more highlight just to give it a shinier look, but if it's a lighter color, I'll stray away from it. I did add some highlight onto her collarbone area, but the skin was light enough that it didn't quite show through. And then I added some more on her eyes and on her shoulder, which gave the clothing kind of a, I guess, shiny look to it, which I found unique because looking at it at first, I thought it would be like a shoulder of a dress. But now that I added that highlight to it, it could almost be like a warrior, like this is shiny armor, which I thought was a cool touch and unconventional. So I am digging it. So that was the subject in the piece. Here I'm adding that texture. I originally went in with just with some slanted, desegmented lines, going in with a ruler and that micron, but I felt like it needed just a little more pop to give that background more, I guess, depth. So I went in and I added a dot in between every slanted, desegmented line. So I feel like if I could have done a gradient, I feel like it would have looked better, but the texture in the background is the best way I could have added more interest to the piece without breaking the rules to the challenge, I guess. So this was my piece. I was really proud with how it turned out. I'm definitely going to do more 3 marker challenges in the future. Like I said, I have learned from my mistakes, and I will definitely not be using that marker paper again. I'll be sticking to this cardstock, which the markers just go on a lot flatter, and it's not streaky at all, and it's a good paper for any alcohol-based markers. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know I did. I'm very happy with how this piece turned out, and I thought it was a really fun challenge. Like I said, I'm gonna start releasing more content and I'll try to be more strict with my uploading schedule, so it's more of a schedule. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and comment in the comment section below if you have any ideas for future videos. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.